Shalom, beloved. Shalom, shalom. I want to welcome you again on this beautiful Shabbat day. Quite home. Yeah, for a change. And we are still looking at the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation. It's going to be a long ride before we go back to the Torah way of life. I want us to be awakened to our situation today, because when we know our times, it makes us see the agents of taking corrective actions in our lives, and it helps us to be aware of what is soon to come on this earth. When that has been inculcated in us, when that has been put in us, then we can continue carrying on with the teaching of the Torah or the kingdom way of life as it is given in the Torah. Because that's paramount. That's paramount. We have to know how Yahweh wants us to live, how he wants us to worship. We've been talking about restoration of true worship and righteous living, but we have not yet gone into detail as far as the instructions are concerned as they are given in the Torah. And so that's our next lap of studies. I don't know how long that will take us. It will take us forever. But as long as we have covered the prophecies of our time, we will also continuously come back and refer to them, look at other subjects like sealing, what is sealing, and who are going to be sealed, and all those things. We will continue to come back to it. Right, and all the other prophetic teachings that are associated with the end time people, us who are living at the end of the time. Now, this study we are doing is very critical in knowing how end time events are going to unroll. Before we look at the thunders, the seals, the trumpets, and the 7 last plagues that are found in the book of Revelations, which we know are explaining the last day events as they are given in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 40 to chapter 12, verse 13. Because that's where all these prophecies are playing in. We see the ground upon which the prophecies of Revelations are hinged on is the prophecies of Daniel. So you can't do without the other. They explain each other. These two books explain each other. So it's important that we know what's happening in the book of Daniel and what's happening in the book of Revelations. So before I look at the thunders, the seals, the trumpets, and the 7 last plagues in detail, we must be well grounded and have a good understanding of the timelines of Daniel 12. And so therefore, you see, we're going to tread onto this ground several times. I'm going to reiterate the prophecies of Daniel chapter 12 several times until I feel that we now understand the gist of these prophetic timelines. And when we do, whatever events that are going to be found within these prophetic timelines are going to be understood. The picture is going to become very clear to us. Daniel 12 verse 8 says, "And I heard, but I understood not." That's Daniel, who's being given these prophecies. "I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Adonai, what shall be the end of these things?" Adonai simply means master. "What shall be the end of these things?" And he said, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." Katesi, cats, right? Till the time of the end, right at the edge of this generation, right at the edge of time, right there. When the time is just about to end, that's when these events are going to be understood. And we are understanding these events which clearly tells me that we are right at the edge and time is no more. Daniel wanted to know what shall be the end of these things, but Daniel did not know, did not understand, as did all those who came before us. It's not like we are so clever that we are understanding what's happening, what those prophecies meant. No. It's only that we are living at a time when the prophecies are being fulfilled. And so we have got a better view than those that lived hundreds of years before us, because you could not fathom, you could not even think, you could not even have an idea what this prophecy is talking about. But as you go towards the time and as you live in the times of the prophecies, those prophecies become actually much clearer. And so it's not that we are in any way cleverer and we understand things better. No, it's just that the providence of existing within the times when the prophecies are being fulfilled is it that makes us to understand these prophecies. So when you read in Daniel chapter 12 verses 5 to 13 timelines, you see that these timelines and there are specific applications to us, the last generation, when we are experiencing the end of all things, right, have not been understood by Daniel nor by believers before us. So us, because we are living at this time, the specific applications, the timelines that are there in Daniel chapter 12 verses 5 to 13 and their applications are going to be understood by the last generation because of the experience that we are going through. These prophecies can only be understood by us, those experiencing the end time events as they take place. This passage was given to assist us to get our bearings and to focus on the rise and fall of the last great empire, the New World Order. So it's all about, you see, the book of Daniel is talking about the rise and fall of kingdoms, rise and fall of kingdoms. Some of these kingdoms, of course, they are far in the distant past and they almost seem like they are irrelevant, but not really, because whatever was built up, right, in those kingdoms was built up to us today. And so therefore we cannot cut the thread, right, and say we are disconnected from the prophecies of Daniel chapter 2, 7, 8. No, we can't do that, because that build-up is necessary for us to be able to understand what is happening to us. Because, you know, remember, the scriptures are cyclical. What has happened in the past will happen in the future, for there is nothing new under the sun. So there are great lessons to be learned from the rise and fall of erstwhile or past empires that have been there before this last empire in which we are living today. Revelation 13 said in verse 3, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed." Listen to this. "And all the world wondered after the beast." What part of all don't you understand there? It says all the world wondered after the beast. Anyone who has got their eyes open, anyone who is a thinking man or a thinking woman, can see how the world is running towards destruction because of one system, because of the cause of one system, because people are deceived and hoodwinked to believe and accept what this system is churning out on them. So verse 8 continues to say, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." So as long as you are not written in the book of the Lamb, what is to be written in the book of the Lamb in the first place? To be written in the book of the Lamb is that you have accepted the Lamb as your personal savior, right? So you are saved. Essentially, you are saved. You are walking in the path of salvation, right? Right. And Yahweh is molding you time, day in and day out, to come to that full stature of a man or a woman who can be qualified by the blood of Yahusha to enter into the kingdom. So all those that have accepted Yahusha as their personal savior, they're saved, right? And then it is the work of setting them apart. It is the work of working on their characters. It is the work of working together, cooperating with Yahweh and Yahusha to bring about their person in us, right? To bring about their character in us, to bring about their spirit in us. So when that is found in this temple, then there is no distinction between heaven and earth. You see, there is unity, there is uniformity of life, there is a blending of together of heaven and earth. When that happens, then Yahweh's kingdom has indeed been set up and established on this earth. And that's what we are waiting. That's what we are waiting to ultimately happen, right, at the end of time. The timelines of Daniel 12 describe the reign of the last beast or the last world empire. In the book of Revelation, that last great empire is called the beast. But in the book of Daniel, it is called the abomination that maketh desolate. So these two terms, they apply to the same entity. It's not like they're describing two different entities. No, it's one entity, but being given two terms to explain what that beast is, right? It is both, a beast is a kingdom, right? And it is a heathen kingdom. That's why it is a beast. It is a heathen kingdom, and when it is YHWH is referred to as a bride, is referred to as a wife of Yahweh, right? It's not referred to as a beast, but when it is a pagan heathen kingdom, Scripture always refers them to be the beast. And then it is called the abomination that maketh desolate. It is the work that it does. It is a desolating beast, which is an abominable one. So it has got abominations in it, right? Things that Yahweh detests, right? It practices false worship. It practices paganism. It practices satanism. And so in this beast, you find everything that is anti-Yahweh. And so therefore, this beast is an abomination, and it is causing desolation amongst Yahweh's people. Now, these three timelines, not only the three timelines in Daniel, right? When we are talking about those three timelines, we are speaking of, where is my pointer now? I started without taking my pointer, right? We are speaking of the 1260, 1290, and 1335. Those are the main timelines that the book of Daniel is talking about. Right, let's see how we can proceed. I can use this small pointer. Right, so these three timelines, not only this one, that one, and that one, they do not only limit the reign of the beast, but also describe the persecution of Yahweh's people and their deliverance. So you see, at certain cut-offs, right, like here, it is only given 1,260 days to persecute. Thereafter, when they are rising, when the 10 kings are rising to declare the universal, when they legislated the universal death decree and they are rising to execute that death penalty, Yahweh cast them off, right? And this also timeline, the timeline that pronounces a blessing for Yahweh's people, that too is cut off here. And the establishment of papal supremacy number 2, that it also is cut off here. So these three timelines limit the reign of the beast and its power to persecute Yahweh's people, and of course also brings in the deliverance of Yahweh's people. First, the sentence is squashed here, right? and there's no more power from this beast system to be able to persecute or to kill Yahweh's people. And then secondly, the coming of the kingdom. YHWH comes to establish his kingdom, and that will be on the, as we mentioned last time, that will be on the 15th of the 7th month. They are given to the day and can't miss that, right? So these timelines are given to the day, and one cannot miss their cutoff times, and you can't miss their starting off time. So it's exactly that 1,260 days, 1,290 days, 1,335 days. So that's very exact. You can't start to guess on it, to increase on it, or to take away from it. What Yahweh has pronounced is exactly that, and that's what is going to happen. And those timelines are going to be fulfilled exactly in those quantities. Right. We see the events, they do not exceed the time spans they are given, neither does deliverance delay a day longer. At the appointed time, everything is fulfilled. The 1,335 days timeline describes the deliverance of the righteous, which is the final reward of the righteous. Yeah, right. The 1,335 timeline comes to the end, the voice of Yahweh bringing about deliverance. Right. So Scripture says those who waited all out from the onset of the persecution at the voice of USA to the deliverance of the voice of Yahweh. So when the voice of USA comes, right, it is declaring a national Sunday law, right? It is declaring a national Sunday law. And then we said, when it does that, it is now kickstarting the empowerment of papal supremacy, number 2, preparing the ground to inaugurate the supremacy of Papa Rome, right? 2, right? This is a process which we said is gonna take 40 days, because when you subtract 1,275 from 1,335, you get 40. 1,275, you get it by adding 15, these 15 days, right? You add these 15 days to 1,260, and this becomes 1,275. Because when you add them, they come together here. They come together where they, in line with the blessing, in line with the barakah of Yahweh. So the difference now remains here. And that difference is 40 days. In the 40 days difference, nations are also enacting the Sunday laws. And when they are fully done, at this point here, you have got a universal Sunday law, right? At this point, when Papal Supremacy number 2 is established, a universal Sunday law has been instituted, right? Which is going to legislate a universal death decree. When the universal Sunday law has been legislated, therefore the punishment for breaking the universal Sunday law would be death, and that death will be made to be a universal death decree after the 1,260 days of persecution have come to an end. Are you following? So therefore, we need to understand that the 3 timelines of Daniel chapter 12 are simply 3 statements written in literal language regarding future events. So waiting, holding fast, beloved, when you when that starts, which props up Roman Papal System 2, Papal Supremacy number 2, when you hold fast, right, in the midst of all that persecution, Yahweh says there is a barakah for you that will come when he stops this wicked system in its tracks, so that it cannot continue to kill, to persecute his people. So hence Scripture says, blessed are they that wait. So they are waiting out. They are patiently waiting. They are enduring the circumstances, and they wait with great hope that their Father in heaven is going to deliver them. So these three timelines are simply three statements written in literal language regarding future events. For instance, Daniel 12:11 simply says there are 1,290 literal days, right, of the reign of the beast, right? It's time to reign. It's time to be supreme. It's 1,290 days until it is completely destroyed at the second coming of YHWH. And the second timeline in Daniel chapter 12 verse 7 simply says there are 1,260 literal days of persecution of the people of Yah under the reign of papal supremacy, number 2, with the kings of the earth. And we saw that those kings are described as the 10 kings of the earth. That's exactly the picture we have currently. There are 10 industrialized countries that are in control of what is happening on this earth. Now they have made them to become 11. But the 11th one, Japan, does not belong to the ancient Roman Empire. The rest of the 10 belong to the ancient Roman Empire. They are part and parcel of the ancient Roman Empire. And so therefore, these are the children of Babylon who are going to effect the works of Babylon, who are going to go further with the wickedness of Babylon. They are they that are going to persecute and kill Yahuwah's people. If they have done it in the past, they will do it again right at the end of the time. Who has killed, maimed, and subdued Yahuwah's people except the Empire of Rome? History is there to tell. There's none that has killed Yahuwah's people, whether they were in the land in YHWH or they were in Africa. The Roman Empire is the one that took everything from the children of YHWH, divided her land, took all the wealth, made them slaves, and so that cycle has been continuing forever. And Yah, at the end of time, he is going to save them. But the qualification is that you go back to Yahuwah Elohim. Because as long as you resist, your place is going to be taken by the Gentiles who will accept Yahuwah. Right? It doesn't matter whether you are a literal child of Abraham. If you do not go back to true worship, if you do not go back to a relationship with Yahuwah, your place is going to be taken by the Gentiles that are believing, that believe the truth of this time. So your birth does not guarantee you salvation. You can be a child of Abraham, but can still be lost. But how privileged you are that at this point in time, the truth is coming out to reveal to you where you have missed the mark, and you are being urged to correct on that so that you can be restored back to your vine, so that you, with the natural branch, can be restored back to the vine. Because if you do not want, then wild branches are also capable to be grafted back to, or to be grafted to the vine. So beloved, don't play with your salvation. Don't play with your opportunity. Even those who are Gentiles by flesh, they are rising to the truth. They are coming to the truth. And Yahuwah is no respecter of persons. He looks at the heart of a man and a woman, and that is it that will qualify you to enter into the kingdom. How can you be lost? You have been under slavery for more than 3,000 years now. Huh? And this is not the time to miss the kingdom. You have never had it good. You have never had it nice. Yahweh has allowed the enemy to subdue you for all these 3,000 years. And now the time is coming for you to be restored. And you are still stuck in these pagan traditions of Christianity. Still stuck in these falsehoods of Christianity. You can't see the truth that is there in front of your eyes. It's very sad. So the Daniel 12 also, verse 12 simply says, there are 1,335 literal days from the beginning of that final crisis until the deliverance of Yahuwah's people by Yahuwah Elohim's voice. So the beginning of the crisis is marked by the United States declaring a national Sunday law. These timelines are pouring a flood of light upon the final events. We can even be able to count our days unto deliverance as long as we know the beginning of each timeline. We must keep focused. Remember, they are always talking about 2030, their timeline, to bring about the new world order. So that 2030, if it is 2030 when the United States, if, don't quote me wrong, if it is 2030, that's when the United States is going to declare a national Sunday law. Then, beloved, we don't have much time. We don't have much time because it's only going to take just over 3.5 years, 1,350 days to the end. So that will be just above 3.5 years. So effectively, from 2030 plus 3.5 years would actually take us to 2034. If, I'm saying if, but let's keep focused. Let's keep focused. And if we see these things happening the way that this chart is trying to elaborate, then we must accept the validity of this the validity of the interpretation of these prophetic timelines. I am very much convinced that Yahuwah will not give us anything in the scriptures that has got no benefit to us. These numbers are supposed to be counted, to be numbered unto our salvation. That's why Yah gave them to us. And if these interpretations are correct, and if they do that, if they meet their target, 2030, beloved, we don't have much time to go. It's just 1,350 days to the end. I want you to keep that at the back of your mind. As we live day by day and seeing the events being fulfilled, beloved, let's keep ourselves focused, because the end apparently is much closer than what we can think. Because the beast system is moving very, very fast, rapidly, to make sure that what it wants done is done. Everything in the beast system is converging to 2030. Everything. Whether it's the media of the beast, whether it's the medical health of the beast, whether it's the financial system of the beast, whether it's the religious system of the beast, whether it's the legal system of the beast, everything, the technology of the system of the beast, everything is converging towards 2030. That's their idea. That's what they've told us. They may do it earlier or they may do it after 2030. But whatever time that is going to happen, we must prepare for ourselves and live like Yahusha is coming in the next second. That's how prepared we must be. And we must plan like we are going to be on this earth for the next 50 years. That's how comprehensive we should be in our planning. so that if anything hits this earth, we will be found prepared in all aspects, right? We will have our water, we will have our food, we will have our shelter, and we will have our places to stay. And because we have planned before. 1,335 days start with the voice of United States Sunday law. Revelation 13:11 says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. He spake as a dragon. USA will speak like a dragon. When this happens, when the United States starts to speak like a dragon, here, declaring the National Sunday law, it is time to leave the concrete jungles and retire to the country. It's time to leave the cities if we had not done so. So what does that mean? That means that we should be in a flurry of preparation right now. We don't know, right, when things are going to happen. We don't know. So we need to be right now prepared in the countries where we are going to live. For Bantu people, this is nothing new for you, for your lives. Every Bantu person has got a village home. And that life that our ancestors lived, where the whole economy of the family was home-based, whatever they wanted, they would find it at home. Even if they would want money, they would have to sell the things that they've harvested at home. Get money, go and pay school fees. Get money, go and buy clothes. Get money, buy a car. The economy was at the home, at the village. That's why we need to go back to. We cannot continue to be sleeping, thinking that things are going to continue the way they are. We are being surrounded in the concrete jungles. We are being surrounded in the cities. And it's time that we leave the cities. It's time that we